Okay, this is gonna be a spicy video, ain't it? So I know this is a very sensitive subject because, Firefly is pretty much a fan favorite amongst the Honkai Star Rail community as a whole. And if you talk bad about somebody's girlfriend, they're gonna cry and, call you a murderer, and they're gonna say that you ate them parents and all that kind of stuff. But here's the thing. I don't care. So I'm gonna be standing on business with this one because I've seen some crazy takes from either the community and from some content creators, which is not that great because you're spreading some M word and it is not good overall.
So yes, I'm creating drama on this one.
Joke aside, I just have to set up some disclaimers because some people have dead brain cells and they do not know the concept of balance and intelligence. So here's why. So the very first disclaimer is I'm not saying that everyone else's opinion is wrong and only mine should be considered because I should be the only motherfucker. No. I'm just providing you with a different thought process / point of view, a different opinion, and some concerns. That's how we create debates, right? So this was the first disclaimer. Second disclaimer, I didn't say that Firefly is going to be bad at all. She is definitely going to be considered as a must pull for me at least, because of so many things. I'm not going to be going through all of that in this video because otherwise it's probably going to be too long, and I don't want it to be too long because the editing stuff is just boring as hell.
Hey boogie boogie bang bang, let's go body body boom boom. Hey boogie boogie bang bang, let's go body body boom boom.
With that being said, I don't think she's going to be the #1 DPS in the game for some reasons. I think she's probably going to be sitting between the 2nd and 5th spots for some reasons, and I'm going to be developing that a little bit later on in the video. And for the final disclaimer, I'm going to be considering every single DPS as 5-star DPSs at E0 S1. Okay, so now that I can cook, let's just jump into the video. So what is the problem with Firefly? Firefly has some flaws, and even though they're not numerous, the flaws are very heavy. Let me elaborate. She has 2 major flaws. The first one is pretty obvious. If she cannot break, then she's not going to be providing you with any damage or value at all. 0, not yet. Just get in the back. And you might be thinking,
Yeah, but this is the purpose of the unit. She needs to break.
okay, listen, little pup. It's not that easy. You need to check some requirements. And if you don't do that, then adios. That's basically it. And there is a way to solve that problem. And the solution is actually the team comp. Which leads me to the second point, is too much dependent on her team comps, in my opinion. Despite what people have been saying, it's just facts, okay? If you need a Ron May, which is a 5-star unit, if you need a Gallagher, at least E2, and I'm gonna be elaborating that later on in the video, not everybody can afford that. It's really, really expensive. So luckily, Gallagher is gonna be on Firefly's banner, so you'll have a chance to get him. I believe he's on Firefly's banner. I might be saying bullshit, but I think he is. But this increases your chance to build a proper team, but you still need a Ron May. So now let's just talk about why you need E2 Gallagher. The problem is, you can run Gallagher at E0, but he's not going to be as functional as if he was at E2. I would even go as far as to say E4, because the E4 increases his buff, break damage buff, for 2 turns, which is massive. Here's the thing. Firefly implants a fire weakness to the entire field, okay? Gallagher is a fire element unit that is specialized into breaking the enemies and sustaining your team. With the E1 you get 20 energy, which means you can do basic attack, ultimate, and enhanced basic attack, which allows you to break every single character in the entire field, and even the elites with the enhanced basic attack, which is nuts, okay? It's massive. So he's gonna be super essential for your Firefly in order to do damage, because Firefly does not do just break damage, she also does Superbreak damage.
Superbreak, chat, Superbreak, get us right here, fresh off the press, Superbreak here.
And this is what her entire kit revolves around, doing Superbreak damage. So the E1 Gallagher is very important for that, but not only it gives you 20 energy when you enter the battle, it also increases Gallagher's effect resistance by 50%, which is super important for a sustainer. Super important, especially if you want to solo sustain, which is what you want to do with Gallagher in Firefly's team comp, because the other 2 spots are going to be taken by Ron May and probably Harmony MC or a flex spot. Just depends. Harmony MC being the best option right there because he can increases your overall damage, which is super nice. So now let's just talk a little bit about E2 Gallagher. Why is it so important? Let's just assume that your Firefly gets crowd control. Are you going to be able to break or not? Probably not. So you need somebody to remove this crowd control debuff. And Gallagher at E2 removes a debuff and gives you effect resistance. I believe it's 30% for 2 turns. It's really good for a sustainer. It's, I would say, even essential, especially if you want to be the solo sustainer in the team. So personally, I consider the E2 being super essential. So overall, these 2 units, E2 Gallagher plus a Ron May, are pretty premium characters. And if you think that you can run this team without Gallagher or Ron May, you have lost your goddamn mind. We're not talking about usability right now, okay? We're talking about performance. The drop off in performance is ridiculous without these 2 characters. Your performance is gonna fall down a cliff straight down to hell. Right away, I'm not even kidding. So yes, it is necessary for you to have Ron May and Gallagher. Super necessary. Then you can add obviously Harmony MC to increase your overall damage, which is super good because it's going to be increasing your overall damage not only for Firefly but also for Gallagher with the Superbreak effect mechanic, which is super insane. So putting Ron May in a team and not on the other is pretty costly. This is a very premium character. You're not going to be getting the buffs that you were supposed to get with Ron May on the other team, which is pretty annoying. I'm even saying that she's irreplaceable because her playstyles, what she does in the team, is unique in this game. It is so broken you have no idea. She's not considered being the best support in the game for no reason. So now let's just put Firefly aside, okay, even with the S1. Let's just talk a little bit about Acheron with the S1. Acheron with the S1 provides you with so much value, it's ridiculous. She needs 2 Nihility units, but those 2 Nihility units can be pretty much anyone. You can be using Silverwolf, you can be using Pella, Green Knife, Black Swan, Kafka, it doesn't matter. Welt even. Luca works. Even Luca works. This is ridiculous. The amount of characters that you can be using with Acheron is nuts, okay? Acheron just needs Nihility and debuffs. Pella does debuffs, Grenaifen does debuffs, Welt does debuffs, Luca does debuffs, Kafka debuffs, Black Swan debuffs, everyone debuffs. Silverwolf obviously debuffs. And the beautiful stuff about Acheron is not only the Nihility characters debuffs, but there are some characters like, I don't know, Boothill, if you want to do some silly comps. He can also implant some debuffs. This is just an example, right? But there are some other units besides the Nihility units that can debuffs. And you can even use like any sustainer and it's gonna work with her. There is a 4-star light cone that makes the enemy that hits your sustainer take a debuff. Acheron is just ridiculous. Plus she has some pen-res in her kit. She does not care about your weakness type because of the ult. Like, Acheron is super universal, okay? While Firefly is very restricted to a team comp. Now, if we are only talking about performances, okay, only about performances in their best respective teams, I still think Acheron performs better than Firefly, even though Firefly's team performs better than Acheron's team, if that makes sense. So I would consider Acheron being the better units from these 2, and Firefly being in the better teams. And I strongly believe that this is going to be a very popular opinion among the entire community when Firefly releases. So this was why I think that Firefly is not the best DPS in the game. She could be. Who knows, right? Especially in the future when they release units or something. But as of right now, I think that Firefly is probably going to be like the 2nd or 3rd best DPS in the game, depending on what content we're talking about. Because currently there are only MOC and Pure Fiction that we, care about. Even though Pure Fiction is more, a joke because you can clear it with free-to-play team comps. There's going to be the Apocalyptic Shadow. And let me tell you, Boothill is going to hold the crown hard on this one for a very long time. Plus his performance currently in the MOC is ridiculous, and in the future MOCs as well, because he provides you with so much utility. So I personally consider Boothill as being the number 2 in the game currently. When Firefly releases, he might be the 3rd or maybe the 2, depending on the rotation of the MOC/Apocalyptic Shadow. This could be considered as a hot take. I don't mind it, that's just my opinion though. Okay boys, that was it for today. Let me know if you're gonna be pulling for Firefly or not. I don't know actually, because I want a Kafka and I'm, a simp. So I'm saying for the future. But I still think that Firefly is a fun unit, so I'm gonna be pulling for her. If I don't get her in the 50-50, then it's fine. Let me also know what you think about the meta positioning of those 2 characters, Acheron and Firefly, and Even Boothill, if you're a Boothill fan, we'll take those. I'm out for this one. Peace!